The unexpected move came this morning as Carol Embrey delivered a letter to the chairman asking him to name his price. The club is worth several £1 million. Board members have been meeting to decide whether the club is for sale and, if so, how much it is worth. This report now from David Passmore.
In footballing terms, Swindon Town is a highly attractive proposition. Success over the last 5 years has taken them to the very edge of the First Division. It is not an obvious financial choice. Assets are limited. The ground is owned by Thamesdown Borough Council and protected by covenant against redevelopment. In all, there are more than 70,000 shares. The controlling interest is held by the 9 directors, so if they decide not to sell, the bid falls through. The woman leading the takeover consortium is Carol Embrey. She works for the club's former sponsors, Lowndes Lambert, and has long been a Swindon supporter. She won't name the other members of her consortium, but stresses it is a serious bid. So does she see herself as the future chairman?
I really wouldn't like to comment on that. It's very much a man's world. I really wouldn't like to comment on that, really. Chairmen are elected by the shareholders and by the board of directors.
What chances do you think you have of buying out all the directors?
Really depends on whether they want to sell. Financially, probably we could meet what they asked, but just really depends. The onus is very much on them whether they want to sell or not.
It was that question, whether to sell or not, which board members were confronted with as they gathered at the county ground this morning for a regular meeting. Last December, Carol Embrey was refused a place on the board at the club's AGM. She believes the club should be run on a sound financial basis and that improvements can be made.
At this point in time, I'm not prepared to go into the details of what we would do with it, but obviously to try and make it more successful.
Did you try and get on the board?
Yes, I did.
Is this possible takeover bid a reaction to that?
Well, I think it's got to be at the end of the day, yes, I'm telling the truth.
What sort of price would you be prepared to pay for the club?
Price hasn't been discussed. It really depends on what the chairman and the board of directors come back with today.
So you've asked them to name their price?
Yes, I have.
What do you think they might come up with?
I have no idea at all. It hasn't been discussed. Figures have not been discussed. I'm waiting for them to come back to me with the figure.
Late this afternoon, the chairman, Brian Hillier, emerged from the board meeting to say the directors hadn't dismissed the possibility of a takeover and were prepared to consider offers. The board is due to meet again for further discussions next week. David Passmore, BBC West, at the county ground in Swindon.